Hey guys, Jess here. It's Snowmageddon here in New York City, so time for chili. It's a turkey bean veggie chili. It's my own recipe, so many people who like chili may think it's not chili, but it's mine. So start with some ground turkey. In terms of canned beans, 1 can of pinto beans, 1 can red kidney beans, 1 can black beans. I take them all, I rinse them. 1 can of diced tomatoes, everything, the juice, everything goes in. The veggies, which I'll prep, 1 yellow onion, or any other onion you like. Peppers, I use the sweet peppers, so I have a red bell pepper, orange bell pepper, green bell pepper. And for a little bit of heat, I just like the flavor, the poblano peppers. I use 2 of those, take the seeds out of those. And then for some spice from real heat, jalapeno. I use 2 jalapenos. I use some of the seeds, but I'll reserve them and kind of taste it as it's cooking to see if I like it. Frozen corn, I use about half a bag, so it's about 5 ounces, and then I save the half and use it for another batch of chili. In terms of the seasonings, using chili powder, cumin, just a little bit, and some coriander. Salt and pepper are going to be included too, and olive oil for sauteing the vegetables and the meat. Once it's all cooked up, toppings that I like are shredded just cheddar cheese, diced avocado, if you like those things, or not. You can put onion on it, you can put sour cream on it, but really it's whatever you like. And then for cooking, once everything's cooked, I actually cook everything on the stove, but then I get it in the slow cooker and let it really come together. So in terms of timing, it takes about an hour or so to prep everything, get it into the slow cooker, and then you can cook it for as long as you like. I think a minimum of an hour. More than that, it's just going to get more flavor. So let me get the veggies prepped, and then I'll start the cooking process. All right, see you soon. All right, guys, we got all the veggies prepped for the chili. So we have the onion. It's chopped pretty big pieces. And then all of the peppers. There's a red bell pepper, orange bell pepper, green bell pepper, 2 jalapenos, 2 poblanos, a little bit of the seeds and the ribs of the jalapeno are in there. I've reserved the remainder of the ribs and seeds for while it's cooking, and if it's not hot enough, I'll add this in, but I don't want it to be too spicy. I've done that before. It's like 5-alarm chili, for real. And then, I forgot to mention this at the beginning, but garlic. So just some nice, finely chopped up garlic. I like fresh garlic, but you can use what you have. I've got my pot already heated, and I cook this in batches. So the first thing I'm going to cook are the onions, and basically I like to just cook them down, maybe get them just a little bit browned, gets the flavor going. And I do all this in stages so that things don't become like just mushy, kind of stew-like. So again, I'll just cook the onions down, add a little bit of salt and pepper at each stage, so kind of seasoning as I go. And then I'll be removing these after they've cooked down, become translucent, softened, and maybe just a little bit browned, a little caramelized. Once the onions have cooked for a little bit and become a little more translucent, then I'll add the garlic to it. And again, then I'll come back and then I'll do the peppers in their own stage. So see you guys in a couple of minutes once these onions are done. Alright guys, so the onions have been cooking for just a couple of minutes. I've added the garlic in. Smells really good, very fragrant. I have my slow cooker pot right here next to it. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take the onions out. And like I said, I cook this in stages. It's an extra step, of course. But I think the flavors just really develop nicely. I also like the onions to be a little bit more caramelized. And already, nicely softened before they go into the chili. By the end of all this, after cooking it in stages, it really is pretty much ready to eat. The only thing is the flavors of the chili itself really need to come together, so I like to give that some time. So then I just kick the heat back up. I'll add a little bit more olive oil, just a touch because there's still some residual left, and now the onion juices are in there too. And now I'm going to add all of the peppers. So I've got all the peppers, again, all prepped. Those are going in now. And kind of the same deal with the onion, just going to let these cook down, caramelize a little bit, get the flavors going. You'll start to smell the real spice coming off the jalapenos too. I add again a little bit of salt and pepper at this stage just to give it a little seasoning. And once this is done, I'll take these out and then I'm going to cook the turkey meat. And once the turkey meat is cooked, then everything is going to go back into the pot. Beans, corn, tomatoes, everything else will get added. I'll show you those steps, and then the chili seasoning. So see you guys in a few minutes. Alright guys, we have the veggies cooked up, so that's all the bell peppers, poblanos, and jalapenos. They're going to come out of the big pot now. And again, the next layer that's going to go in is the meat. The peppers are nice and caramelized. I like a little bit of the browning to happen on them, which is really good. Lots of good flavor. There's also a lot of good flavor at the bottom of the pot now too, so that's going to contribute to everything coming together. Again, these are extra steps, but I think it makes an overall really good chili in the end. And then the slow cooker allows all the flavors to come together. You could just cook it in the pot, so just on a really low heat for an hour or more. That's definitely a possibility, but I like to have it just sit in the slow cooker. Really nice, even temperature. Alright, so again, same principle. A little bit of olive oil at the bottom of the pan. I'm going to add the ground turkey. I'm not adding any seasonings to it just yet, just going to be salt and pepper. I break it up into little parts so that it kind of spreads around. If you want to just make a vegetarian chili, that's definitely a possibility. You could just omit the turkey, but I like the turkey chili. I think it adds a nice flavor. You have a lot of veggies and proteins going on with the beans and stuff too, but another element of flavor gets added. Alright, so I'm just going to break up the turkey, give it a little salt and pepper, get it all cooked through, and then the chili is really going to come together in just a few minutes. While this is cooking, I'm going to open up all my cans of beans, drain them out, get the tomatoes ready, have the corn ready, because we're almost there. I'm getting there. Alright, see you in a few. Alright guys, the turkey's been cooking. It's a little bit browned, all broken up now, and we're just going to keep this in the pan. Now all the fun stuff gets added. All the veggies are going to go back in, so that's the onions, all the bell peppers, jalapenos, poblanos, everything that's been cooked, the garlic, back in the pot. That can of diced tomatoes with the juices, that whole thing's going in. I like to just give the can a little rinse too, get any remaining juice, get that in there. The water will kind of cook away anyway. Got all three of the beans, pinto, black, and kidney. They've been drained from the can, rinsed. That's all going in the pot. That half a bag of corn, so it's about 5 ounces of frozen corn, that's going in the pot. So this is where it really comes together now. And what to do is just give it a big stir. I've got the heat on right now underneath the pot so that we're going to kind of heat everything through. The corn itself had been thawed out, so it wasn't freezing cold when we put it in. We don't want that kind of shock to the system for everything else. But it was room temperature at this point, defrosted. Now at this point, you're not going to see a lot of juices with the chili, and that's okay. You get more of that development once everything comes together. Now that we've got everything in the pot together, love all the colors, looking great. This is where we get to add all the seasonings. So chili powder, obviously it's chili, so I use just a basic chili powder with this. Should have opened the new container previously, but didn't do that. I just use palmful measurements because I don't like counting things out, so one big palmful. Then we'll do a second big palmful. There's a lot of stuff going on in there, so we want to season it. The next thing that goes in, this is a real favorite of mine, coriander, ground coriander. I'm going to do about a full palmful of that. Has a real bright flavor. This is actually the seed for cilantro, so it has kind of this bright, citrusy kind of flavor to it. And then I like to put a little bit of cumin in. Some people may find cumin a little overwhelming, so you can do this to taste. I use just about probably a teaspoon of it, and again, that's going to go a long way in here. Give it a big stir. Starting to get that heat developing throughout. I mean, the actual temperature heat's coming up, and that's good. So what I'd like to do now is just keep the temperature going, get all the seasonings in there. I let it cook for a little bit on the stove, probably about 10 minutes or so to kind of let it all come together. I keep the lid off. You can put the lid on if you want. And then I'll taste it and see how things are doing with the seasonings. Do I need to add some more salt, some more pepper? And then I'm going to take this and transfer it into the slow cooker so that it can come together and develop all the flavors. You don't have a slow cooker? No problem. Before I had one, I just cooked everything on the pot, kept it at a really slow simmer, checked on it every now and again, gave it a big stir. Yeah, we're going to give this about 10 minutes or so to come together on the stove, get the heat really going throughout, and then we'll transfer it over to the slow cooker. Alright? Alright guys, chili's been cooking in the pot for about 10 minutes or so. Got the heat up, it's coming to a boil, so you have the nice bubbles going around. All the flavors really coming together. So before I take it out, I'll just do a check on the seasoning, see if it needs anything. This is a good time to add salt, pepper, or anything else that I think might help it. Really good seasoning, I think. We're great on all the spices. Salt level's good. Don't want to add too much of that. Everything else is great, so I'm going to turn the heat off. And I'm going to transfer it now into the slow cooker. Everything's going in now. I mean, just the colors, just so pretty. Something like you want to eat because it looks good. Also smells great. So now it's going to go into the slow cooker. Going to be in there for at least an hour. I mean, honestly, you could eat the chili right now. Like, everything's cooked. It's all healthy and safe, but just to bring everything together a little bit more, kind of thickens things up too. I like to cook it for a little bit longer. I'd say a minimum of an hour really gets the flavors together. Tomorrow, this is like really excellent. It gets lots of time to marinate, come together. But yeah, it's really up to you in terms of how you want to handle this. And if you don't like spice, just take out all those hot peppers that I added. Take out the jalapenos and maybe leave the poblanos for a little mild flavor. Still afraid of the heat? Start maybe with half a jalapeno without the seeds. I definitely made it too spicy one time when I added 3 whole jalapenos. Seeds, ribs, everything. Man, if there was smell-o-vision that day, you literally would have burned the inside of your nose out. But we ate the chili. We ate it. It just was not necessarily as enjoyable. So again, up to your tolerance level. Adding sour cream and cheese on top too can help cool it down. So yeah, it's really your preference. But yeah, this is going to be a nice meal while the snow is outside and falling. So, ready to go. This guy's going into the slow cooker now. I'll put it in there on, mine has a high setting, so I'll put it in there for an hour on the high setting, and then come taste it again. I can always add more heat if I want. I had that reserved ribs and seeds from the jalapenos, so kind of up to me to add. But yeah, see you guys soon for the final product. Hey guys, it's been cooking for about an hour on the high setting. I just lowered it down to the keep warm setting. Give it a nice big stir. It smells delicious right now. It definitely has great temperature, so it's definitely cooked all the way through. Things have come together. So now I'm going to give it a taste to see how we're doing with the seasonings. This is a point where we can add more salt and pepper or other seasonings if we need to. Awesome. Excellent heat. I want a little bit more, I think, so I'm going to add a little bit more of those ribs and seeds from the jalapeno. You guys remember that we reserved that from before. Not too much because, again, don't want it to be overwhelming, but just a little bit. So give a little pinch. And then what we'll do is give it a big stir. Get all those seeds in there. The oils will get released, and that's actually where the heat of the pepper is. And again, having made the mistake of using too much before, don't want that to happen. So I'm going to put the lid back on. It's on the keep warm setting now. Honestly, we could eat it at any moment and might actually do that. This is a good place for us to stop. So once it's all set and we're happy, we're going to add some grated cheese to it, maybe some avocado. You can kind of doctor it as you want to. One of the great things about this is you can make it your own. Sour cream, fresh onion if you like. And the other big thing is this travels really nicely. So if you want to store this in the freezer, it's going to keep really well and defrost really well and taste delicious. It's great for a potluck. You can bring the entire slow cooker. You can bring it in batches and then reheat it. You could make it the night before and then have it ready in the slow cooker for dinner for people. I've done it a number of ways and it's been a really successful meal. So the weather outside may be frightful, but this chili is delightful. So hope you enjoy it and catch you on the next one.